Today, you are going to learn how to play one whole step higher on the trumpet in 1 week. Sound unbelievable? This is installment 3, or Trumpet Lesson 3 in this series on how to play higher in 1 week. Let me give you this friendly warning. This is not going to be a tutorial, a trumpet lesson about long tones or lip slurs. Yeah, so I'm not going to give you that generic advice that you already know, or that you likely have already found on YouTube, or that you likely have heard from your trumpet instructor, especially if you're a trumpet major at some college or university. You're not going to get that here. You already know it, or it can be easily found on YouTube. Before I continue, please make sure to subscribe to this channel to get amazing and unusual trumpet lesson tutorials. By the way, also lessons for tuba, trombone, cornet, flugelhorn, French horn, baritone, euphonium. Yes, it's all here at Trumpet Sizzle. So subscribe right now and hit that little bell notification so you'll be alerted anytime I put up a new video. So if you've been following along and watching the other trumpet lessons in this series, you'll notice that each trumpet lesson said you could gain a half step in range in 1 week. But if you listen carefully at the beginning of this video, I told you you could gain an amazing 1 whole step in 1 week. You didn't miss here, and I wasn't fooling around. This particular trumpet lesson is going to focus on technique. Yes, a lot of brute strength is required to play skillfully in the upper register on the trumpet or any brass instrument. However, you cannot forget about technique. Technique is essential. Unfortunately, so many people are using the wrong technique to play and excel in the upper register of the trumpet or any brass instrument. Okay, I can hear you say, Kurt, get on with this. What is this amazing technique you keep referring to that will give me 1 whole step in 1 week? Okay, you ready for the technique? You ready? Are you ready? The technique I'm going to share with you right now is called lip roll-in. Roll-in. R-O-L-L-I-N. Lip roll-in. And it really amazes me how many people don't know about this and how many people don't do it. And for those who know about it, they still don't do it. I can't tell you how many times I've gone on YouTube to see people start their playing and not roll in. And it looks something like this. The lips are just like this. Your horn comes up like this. And that's it. There's no rolling. So if I'm going to play in the upper register, it's going to go something like this. No rolling. And what you just heard right now sounded like total crap. Why? No rolling. But you heard at the beginning of this trumpet lesson video, I killed it on Sesame Street. Do you look like this when you play in the upper register of the trumpet? Watch the lips carefully. Let me actually roll in and show you the difference so you can hear it and see it. Want to see it again? Now, let me go ahead and apply that technique of rolling to playing the horn. Remember, this could be applied to tuba, trombone, French horn, baritone, euphonium, cornet, flugelhorn, E-flat cornet. I put the mouthpiece up to my lips. If I'm going to play low, I'm going to keep a low C setting, what I call a low C setting. It could be a low B-flat setting if you're playing a bass clef instrument. A low C setting. Jaws drop down low. More of a pooch in your lips. Not much roll in. Oh, it kind of probably looks like that in the mouthpiece. Oh, lips apart, teeth apart. With the roll in, a couple of things have to accompany this particular technique. The jaw needs to be up, not down like in the low C. Up, teeth almost touching. Lips up and rolled in. Rolled in. More extreme now. Extremely rolled in. If you can master this technique, you will be able to play one whole step higher in 1 week. Too good to be true? Again, this is not a trumpet lesson about building strength to gain 1/2 step in 1 week. It is a technique, and once you learn this technique, your range will go up 1 whole step. For those of you who are trying to count, that's 2 half steps in 1 week. Now here are 2 strategies that can help you gain this technique. Number 1, use a mirror. Yes, you heard right. Practice this technique in front of a mirror. Or maybe you can borrow your mom or sister's makeup mirror. You know, the little round one that flips around and one kind of magnifies and you can just set it on something? So use a mirror to see what's going on and try to shadow and mimic exactly what you saw me do in this video. You're going to roll in. Strategy number 2, get with a professional trumpet instructor who can show you this technique in person or via Skype. Okay, so did you learn something today? If you did, here's a reminder again to subscribe to this channel. There's a lot of amazing content and actionable material that you can use starting right today. Now I want to turn it over to you. Are you going to use this amazing trumpet lesson technique to skyrocket your range in 1 week?
Well, we're waiting.
If you're going to try this technique, could you let us know in the comment section below? And what would really be appreciated would be after 1 week of trying this technique, how did it go? Let everybody know in the comment section. You're just going to be helping other trumpet players and brass musicians when you do that. Again, leave a comment. This has been Kurt Thompson along with TrumpetSizzle.com. And by the way, if you want amazing tutorials, exercises, practice devices, and practice aids to help make you a better musician, a better brass musician, a better trumpet player, then you need to go to TrumpetSizzle.com. And the last word, at the end of this video, you're going to see my top rated trumpet lesson video on the top 2 reasons why you can't play high at the end of this video. Go ahead and click on it. It's one of the #1 rated trumpet lesson videos on YouTube. And you watch that video and you'll see why. You're going to learn something. This has been Trumpet Lesson 3, or the 3rd installment in the series on how to play your trumpet higher in 1 week by moi, Kurt Thompson. I'll see you in the next one, my friend. Trumpet in 1 week. The trumpet technique that I'm going to show you today has really helped me improve my range, actually more than a half step. But we're going to let you guys experience the half step increase in range in high notes on your trumpet by using this one amazing technique. And thanks to this one amazing technique that I'm going to show you today, I am able to play extremely well in the upper register of the trumpet. Now let me give you this warning. We're not going to be going over the same old that you already know about. Lip slurs. Okay, let me try some high notes here. Oh, why can't I play high? I'm playing lip slurs. Long tones. Okay, now I can play high. Just did a bunch of long tones. Oh, I still can't play high even doing long tones. So yeah, this is a warning. You're not going to get that same old advice that you've already been given, long tones and lip slurs. It can only take you so far. You are going to get an amazing, unique technique. I'm Kurt Thompson, TrumpetSizzle.com. Let's dive into it right now. So are you one of those trumpet players that want to play higher? Yeah, me too. You're going to love this technique. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and maybe the ugly of this technique. It's so simple. You're going to be doing Roy Stevens' no pressure system palming. Make your hand like this. Not like this. Not like that. Like this. Your hand stiff and flat. Now I want you to turn it over. This is my left hand. You're going to turn it over. You're going to make it like a shelf. Almost like a shelf. You know, like you could set something on. See? It's a shelf. You can set a mouthpiece on there. See? Just like a shelf. Take your horn. Put it on that shelf. Do not allow your fingers to do this. Even a little bit. Your hands and fingers need to be stiff and straight. Almost like popsicle stick. Lay the horn on your hand. Don't grab onto it. Just lay it on like a shelf. If you're not careful, it could actually fall off. That's how you want to do it. It's just like a shelf. Here we go. I want you to put it up to your lips. Now, here's parallel. You can have a little angle on it, which will help seal the vibration. This is parallel, approximately. Here's an angle. Put it up where you normally would play, and play a low C. Easy, right? Yeah. Step 2 in how to play higher on your trumpet for this 1 week technique. On your palm again, and I want you to play 2 notes. So far, so good, right? Yeah. Seems like we have an echo in this room. Step 3, you're going to add a note. So far we've done the low C on trumpet. We did the low C to the G on trumpet. Now we're going to add a 3rd note, the C. This has to be slurred, and it has to be about mezzo forte to forte, which means medium loud to loud. Remember, hands like a shelf. Lay the trumpet on the shelf. Parallel, you can add an angle to it. You want to play as high as you possibly can. Now, you're going to keep adding notes until you can't play anymore. Let's add a note. Now we'll be going to E. You think you can go up to an E? It's not that hard, is it? Do you think that you can go to an E? It's not that high, right? Yeah. Shelf. Horn. Did you notice something? Each time I start down on the low C, we went low C, G, low C, G, C, low C, G, C, E. Each time that you repeat it, you always start back on the low C. Getting to that high B flat is going to be quite an advanced move for most of you, but some of you may be able to get it. That was high C, doing the Roy Stevens palming, no pressure system. If you can get up to high C like that, and it was loud, you really have strong chops. You really have strong chops.
Yeah.
You want a half step increase in your range? 7 days, my friends. 7 days. Every day. Pretty cool, huh? So now I want to turn it over to you. So did you learn something? Are you actually going to try this technique? Are you actually going to try it for 7 days? If so, let me know in the comment section. Love to hear from you. Especially if you tried it for 7 days and you got that high range happening. The last word, if you want exclusive tutorials, lessons, and strategies that you can only get here, you gotta go to trumpetsizzle.com. I have something that's gonna help you get better. Tutorials, lessons, DVDs, practice aids, practice devices, exercises. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, let's go on to some demonstration with some of the other instruments. What if you don't play trumpet? What if you play French horn? So for French horn, I'm going to hold it like this. Let me kind of back up a little bit. I'm going to hold it like this. And just, you can see how I'm holding it with my hands, just palming it. Alright, let's see what we can do with trombone. Alright, here's your euphonium, and I got one hand down here. I'm not going to grip it. And actually this is a baritone. And I got the other hand like this, so I'm not gripping anything like that. I'm not able to pull it in. And I'm just going to start on a lower note. Now this guy you're probably going to have to get a little bit more innovative with. This is too heavy. What is it, like 25 pounds almost, just to try to do what I did with the baritone, which was pretty light. If you could fashion a way to hang it, or with a little bit of rope from somewhere in your house, that would be great. If you have a tuba stand, I'm going to just maybe try to wing it and do it on my chair. Let's just see what happens. So I'm on a chair here. Now let's just see if I can just work it enough, just to show you that this can be done. So it's on the chair. I've got it lean like this, and I'm just going to keep it. I'm going to put my hands up here, so I'm really not going to use any pressure. All right, are the wheels turning right now? So this would actually be better if you had a tuba stand and you just bring your mouth up to it and don't even touch it. But you could see that I was using no pressure, just with the tips of my fingers. If I had to choose one thing to really explode my progress on any brass instrument, especially during this time where we're all kind of stuck at home, you're not at school, you're not in your rehearsals, you're not in your ensembles, I have one thing that I would recommend that you could do right now: the sizzle pull. The sizzle pull. Is the logical evolution of the Pete. For many of you that have, let me get out of the way so you can really see it clearly. There we go, should come into focus a little bit better. For many of you who have the Pete, this is the evolution of the Pete. It does everything that the Pete does and a lot more. It's like the Pete on steroids. It has another, 10, 15, 20 variations that you can use. It's solid metal. It has some cushion beads on it, not to tear up the inside of your mouth. This is the sizzle pull. You can get this along with a tutorial for it. If you didn't want to embark on the best #1 rated amateur improvement program in the world, which is my 16-week brass upper register course, the new revised one, if you're not ready to take on that and tackle that, which actually that's the one that you should really be doing. But if you just wanted to try something that's easy, not going to take a lot of time, but will give you almost instant results over anything else that you could try. I mean, I've looked at everything that is out there, anything that you can buy anywhere. This will do it. The sizzle pull. The sizzle pull. Today, you are going to learn how to play 1/2 step higher on the trumpet in 1 week. This is a trumpet lesson on how to play higher notes on the trumpet. The trumpet technique that I'm going to show you today has really helped me improve my range, actually more than a 1/2 step. But we're going to let you guys experience the 1/2 step increase in range in high notes on your trumpet by using this one amazing technique. And thanks to this one amazing technique that I'm going to show you today, I am able to play extremely well in the upper register of the trumpet. Now I should warn you, I'm not going to be giving you generic, same old advice that you've heard time and time again, maybe even here on YouTube. Definitely if you're a music major, of practicing long tones, practicing the Schlossberg, blah 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 blah. You already know that, so I'm not going to be talking about that here. I'm going to be giving you this amazing technique that will work in 7 days. You probably already know who I am, but for those of you just watching me for the first time, I'm Kurt Thompson of TrumpetSizzle.com. Let's dive right into this amazing technique. You know, a long time ago I was like you, struggling to increase my range, my accuracy, my power, And the real biggie, the endurance, the ability to last an entire rehearsal or performance. And yes, some of it does work. You know, I tried the long tone thing. In fact, I still play long tones. I still do that, but not as a way to really jack up my range. I mean, I tried that. I had trumpet teachers that told me to lip buzz and mouthpiece buzz 45 minutes a day before I even touched the horn. I tried all that stuff. I didn't really get much out of it, folks. And we're just a few days away from St. Patty's Day, so why not tilt the odds in our favor? I got all green on because this is my lucky day, but it's going to be even your luckier day when you get this extra half step in range in 1 week. This is not a joke, this is the real deal for improving higher notes on your trumpet in just 1 week. This is quite cool. You just have to do it. All right, here we go. First, you are going to be taking the trumpet mouthpiece and placing it in the center of your chops the way you normally would. You're going to start off on a relatively easy note. Say, for example, middle C. Now watch carefully. I'm going to repeat middle C going to my left, and this will probably be your right, but I'm going to repeat it several times as I slide the mouthpiece across my chops to my left corner. That's probably your right. Watch. Now bring it back to center and go to the other direction. This way. Crazy, right? Crazy like a fox. Now let's try going up to D. Right in the center, over. Bring it back to the center and head the other direction. Wow! You're probably saying, hey Kurt, what's so amazing about that? You are adding a different stress in a different placement on the chops that you're not used to doing. It's going to throw you for a little bit of a loop. And then watch the range start to happen, my friend. So we did C, we did D, and you want to keep going as high as you can until you're no longer able to go across each direction. Let's fast forward. Let's pretend I'm trying to do this on a G above the staff, which is getting pretty high for this technique. Center. Over. Getting tough. Back center. We're going to go this direction. What's going on with my hat? There we go. What? No. You didn't ask me right now to try this on a high C. It's a crazy, amazing, wild, quirky technique, but on a high C? Huh? What? Ah, what the F. You want to hear it on a high C? It's going to sound horrible. It's going to sound god-awful. Let's try it. Woo! It was the green hat. The green, the luck of the Irish. The reason I was able to do this on a high C. Now, this technique is an amazing technique, and you will get 1/2 step in 1 week on your trumpet. This has been a trumpet lesson on how to play higher on trumpet. And actually, it will work for trombone, tuba, French horn, euphonium, baritone. Now, will this amazing, powerful trumpet technique allow you to do this? Maybe not, maybe so. But you will get the 1/2 step increase in your range on trumpet or any brass instrument. I promise you that in 1 week. So after going through this one amazing technique with me and having observed how to do it, did you learn something new today? Are you going to try this technique? Why wouldn't you try this technique? Well, anyway, if you did learn something new today, make sure to subscribe to my channel, Trumpet Sizzle. It's easy. Just click on that rectangular red button that says subscribe below, right below. Maybe it's right there. It's right there. Just click on it and you'll be automatically subscribed. I'd also hit that bell notification. That way, every time I upload something you might be interested in, you'll get a notification of it right away. And by the way, if you want exclusive training, courses, tutorials, practice aids, exercises, all for brass players, trumpet, tuba, euphonium, baritone, French horn, cornet, flugelhorn, then head on over to TrumpetSizzle.com. TrumpetSizzle.com. Now, I would like to turn it over to you. Are you going to try this amazing, powerful technique to jack your range up in 1 week, 1/2 step? Either way, let me know by leaving a comment below right now. This has been a trumpet lesson video on how to play higher notes on the trumpet, specifically on how to gain 1/2 step in range in 1 week. I'm Kurt Thompson. I'll see you in the next one. Trumpet lessons for under $10. Sound too good to be true, right? Well, this is Kurt Thompson, TrumpetSizzle.com. And this past week, pretty much the first week of April, I've been trying to put together a bunch of tutorials that are short, quick, and easy for this time when a lot of you are stuck at home. And my motto is, if you're going to be at home, why not try to find the silver lining and practice a little bit more so that when society comes back to normal, you're that much better of a player. Is that too hard to follow? I hope not. Anyway, I put together some very, very quick and easy and short tutorials. Actually, the easy part is for some of them, but some of them are actually difficult. But I outlined that for you. So if you're looking here, this is the new collection that I have on my site. And we're just going to go through there. In fact, I'm going to show you how to find it. Let's just pretend that you're typing in my website instead of clicking on a link. So let's pretend that, let's just say you are at YouTube, because I'll put this up on YouTube. It'll be on Instagram and my Facebook. Let's just say you're here, you're kind of messing around, right? And you're like, oh, okay, so I want to go to Kurt's site and check out these very cheap trumpet tutorials. So you would type in TrumpetSizzle.com. Boom. Now when you're here, where do you go after that? Well, what I would do is I would click the little bar here, and especially if you're on your phone, you'll see this. It's up on everybody's mobile version. So you click that, and then you go to all of Kurt's stuff. Now you could go down here too. That gets you there too. But I would click all of Kurt's stuff. And then I would click new, because these are all brand new, people. Just go to new. So it says, it's just self-explanatory, right? Price, low, high, old, new. You want new to old. If you click new to old, since I just literally put these up this week, the first and second week of April of 2020, all these are going to come up, and it'll be very easy to browse through these. So click this. Boom. And you get right back to where you were at the beginning of this video. And you can just browse through this. There's about a good almost 20 of them. And now some of them, there's about 4 or 5 that are in the under 20 category, because they're longer and more in-depth tutorials. But there's a good, I don't know, close to 20 that are under 10, and most of these are $7. Hello. So if you're sitting at home and you're just playing through some of those little small pieces that you see in pep band, you know, at your high school band, those little tiny, you know, rectangular sheets that are about 4x6 or 5x7, and you're messing around with that,
and you're going through a couple of scales, and maybe you got some sheet music from your band, and you've been doing that, and you're kind of not really getting anywhere, you're probably not even maintaining, you might want to think about getting some of these tutorials so you can at least be getting better. Again, if you're stuck at home, and let's face it, right now we're at the middle of April 2020, and schools across the US get out at two different times. You have your schools that get out right at the end of May, and then you have your schools that get out at the middle of June. Which one are you in? It doesn't really matter, because do you think that they're going to let you go back to school here around May 1st? Well, let's just pretend that you do. Are you going to get anything done? No. So my guess is you're not going back to school for the remainder of this year. And for those exceptions where I'm actually not right about that, what are you going to get done? You're not going to get much done. So my advice to you is to go ahead and take the initiative and start getting some of these devices. And obviously, you won't be getting within 6 feet of me to get these, and you can still get better. Spell it out pretty clearly in these tutorials. They're very quick and easy tutorials, so we'll scroll through these very quickly and let you get on your way. Now, some of these are advanced, so let me repeat. Actually, this is not a repeat. Let me say this for the first time. If you're 13 years old and in finishing up 7th grade, if it says advanced, like right here, it says advanced, don't get it. You're not going to be happy. This is going to be too difficult for you. So beginner videos, I would assume you're probably 5th grade up to about maybe 7th grade. Intermediate would be, let's say, 7th grade up to maybe 10th or 11th grade, depending on your level. And then advanced would be most likely someone that's a sophomore or a junior in high school up to and through college and beyond. Your semi-pro players and your really top-notch players, whatever age, could be 80 years old, 60, 40, or you're a music major in school, or you're just a really good player, but you're likely probably 15 or 16 or older. That would be my guess. So you need to pay attention to these when it says beginning, intermediate, or advanced. So that's critical. You don't need to get something that's going to be too hard to figure out and actually could cause you more harm than good. Like this one here is not going to be good for someone that's 13 years old. It's not going to be good. So just I have it all spelled out for you, so it's very easy. You just have to read. Here's the left, right. So this is an advanced lip buzzing tutorial. It tells you how long the tutorial is, and most of these are around $7. It's advanced, so you'd want to be in high school or further beyond that and be a pretty good player to be getting these. Here's one pretty much for, I would say for a lot of people, but it does have advanced on it. This is my cool T hissing, breathing, compression, breath, and it includes a test. It's a quick little 4-minute tutorial. It will help you develop the compression breath necessary for playing above the staff for all brass instruments. And don't let this fool you. You'll see that it says trumpet lesson tutorials under $10, but most of these are applicable to trombone, tuba, cornet, E-flat cornet, flugel, French horn, euphonium, baritone, trombone, if I didn't already say it. Just about all brass instruments, most of these will be applicable. So I'm just going to go through, so hopefully something will strike your fancy. What else? This is for all musicians, including singers. Are you a male or female singer in your high school choir or just your church? This teaches you the basic correct breath for all wind musicians. Wind meaning you use your air to make the music. That includes vocalists and clarinet players, flute players. Okay, we'll move right along. Now this one is one that's in the under 20 category. It's a very in-depth, completely detailed tutorial about pedal tones, all about pedal tones, and actually how to use pedal tones to be able to increase your power and your range. It's a 14-minute tutorial. It is more. It's $14. This is a good one. Mainly geared towards trumpet players in this one. So I would just, for tuba and everybody else, I would avoid this one. This is mainly for trumpet. Claude Gordon, My Way. And so this one is a super duper tutorial. I use actually this one in most of my longer courses, like the 16-week course. In fact, let's talk about that. Let's just pretend that you don't go back to school, guys and gals. It's the middle of April. Let's say you go back to school and everything's hunky-dory, the virus is gone. Trumpet lessons for under $10. Sound too good to be true, right? Well, this is Kurt Thompson, TrumpetSizzle.com. And this past week, pretty much the first week of April, I've been trying to put together a bunch of tutorials that are short, quick, and easy for this time when a lot of you are stuck at home. And my motto is, if you're going to be at home, why not try to find the silver lining and practice a little bit more so that when society comes back to normal, you're that much better of a player. Is that too hard to follow? I hope not. Anyway, I put together some very, very quick and easy and short tutorials. Actually, the easy part is for some of them, but some of them are actually difficult. But I outlined that for you. So if you're looking here, this is the new collection that I have on my site. And we're just going to go through there. In fact, I'm going to show you how to find it. Let's just pretend that you're typing in my website instead of clicking on a link. So let's pretend that, let's just say you were at YouTube, because I'll put this up on YouTube. It'll be on Instagram and my Facebook. Let's just say you're here, you're kind of messing around, right? And you're like, oh, okay, so I want to go to Kurt's site and check out these very cheap trumpet tutorials. So you would type in TrumpetSizzle.com. Boom. Now when you're here, where do you go after that? Well, what I would do is I would click the little bar here, and especially if you're on your phone, you'll see this. It's up on everybody's mobile version. So you click that, and then you go to all of Kurt's stuff. Now you could go down here too. That gets you there too. But I would click all of Kurt's stuff, and then I would click new, because these are all brand new, people. Just go to new. So it says, it's just self-explanatory, right? Price, low, high, old, new. You want new to old. If you click new to old, since I just literally put these up this week, the first and second week of April of 2020, all these are going to come up, and it'll be very easy to browse through these. So click this, boom, and you get right back to where you were at the beginning of this video. And you can just browse through this. There's about a good almost 20 of them. And now some of them, there's about 4 or 5 that are in the under 20 category, because they're longer and more in-depth tutorials. But there's a good, I don't know, close to 20 that are under 10, and most of these are $7. Hello. So if you're sitting at home and you're just playing through some of those little small pieces that you see in pep band, at your high school band, those little tiny, rectangular sheets that are about 4x6 or 5x7, and you're messing around with that, and you're going through a couple of scales, and maybe you got some sheet music from your band, and you've been doing that, and you're kind of not really getting anywhere. You're probably not even maintaining. You might want to think about getting some of these tutorials so you can at least be getting better. Again, if you're stuck at home, and let's face it, right now we're at the middle of April 2020, and schools across the U.S. get out at 2 different times. You have your schools that get out right at the end of May, and then you have your schools that get out at the middle of June. Which one are you in? It doesn't really matter, because do you think that they're going to let you go back to school here around May 1st? Well, let's just pretend that you do. Are you going to get anything done? No. So my guess is you're not going back to school for the remainder of this year. And for those exceptions where I'm actually not right about that, what are you going to get done? You're not going to get much done. So my advice to you is to go ahead and take the initiative and start getting some of these devices. And obviously, you won't be getting within 6 feet of me to get these. And you can still get better. Spell it out pretty clearly in these tutorials. They're very quick and easy tutorials. So we'll scroll through these very quickly and let you get on your way. Now, some of these are advanced. So let me repeat. Actually, this is not a repeat. Let me say this for the first time. If you're, 13 years old and in finishing up 7th grade, if it says advanced, like right here, it says advanced, don't get it. you're not going to be happy. This is going to be too difficult for you. So beginner videos, I would assume you're probably 5th grade up to about maybe 7th grade. Intermediate would be, let's say, 7th grade up to maybe 10th or 11th grade, depending on your level. And then advanced would be most likely someone that's a sophomore or a junior in high school up to and through college and beyond. You know, your semi-pro players and your really top-notch players, whatever age, could be 80 years old, 60, 40, or you're a music major in school, or you're just a really good player, but you're likely probably 15 or 16 or older. That would be my guess. So you need to pay attention to these when it says beginning, intermediate, or advanced. So that's critical. You don't need to get something that's going to be too hard to figure out and actually could cause you more harm than good. Like this one here is not going to be good for someone that's, 13 years old. It's not going to be good. So just, I have it all spelled out for you, so it's very easy. You just have to read. Here's a left, right. So this is an advanced lip buzzing tutorial. It tells you how long the tutorial is, and most of these are around $7. It's advanced, so you'd want to be in high school or further beyond that and be a pretty good player to be getting these. Here's one pretty much for, I would say for a lot of people, but it does have advanced on it. This is my cool T hissing, breathing, compression breath, and it includes a test. It's a quick little 4-minute tutorial. It will help you develop the compression breath necessary for playing above the staff for all brass instruments. And don't let this fool you. You'll see that it says trumpet lesson tutorials under $10, but most of these are applicable to trombone, tuba, cornet, E-flat cornet, flugel, French horn, euphonium, baritone, trombone, if I didn't already say it. Just about all brass instruments, most of these will be applicable. So I'm just going to go through, so hopefully something will strike your fancy. What else? This is for all musicians, including singers. Are you a male or female singer in your high school choir or just your church? This teaches you the basic correct breath for all wind musicians. Wind meaning you use your air to make the music. That includes vocalists and clarinet players, flute players. Okay, we'll move right along. Now this one is one that's in the under 20 category. It's a very in-depth, completely detailed tutorial about pedal tones, all about pedal tones, and actually how to use pedal tones to be able to increase your power and your range. It's a 14-minute tutorial. It is more. It's $14. This is a good one. Mainly geared towards trumpet players in this one. So I would just, for tuba and everybody else, I would avoid this one. This is mainly for trumpet. Claude Gordon, My Way. And so this one is a super duper tutorial. I use actually this one in most of my longer courses, like the 16-week course. In fact, let's talk about that. Let's just pretend that you don't go back to school, guys and gals. It's the middle of April. Let's say you go back to school and everything's hunky-dory, the virus is gone, we're good to go, and you're going to start in the middle of August. It would really be a shame for you not to get involved in my 16-week course, because you can get involved now. You don't have to have any other extracurricular playing and ensembles that will make it hard for you to recuperate. Really, this is another silver lining of this virus. If you're at home or if you're older, let's just say that you're not in school, but let's say you're 50 years of age and you have to work from home or you're just mainly homebound. You really owe it to yourself to get into the #1 rated course for embouchure strengthening, and that's by a 16-week course. And it's just a no-brainer. April to middle of May, middle of June, middle of July, hey, middle of August. Do I got perfect timing or what? You could take the 16-week course and you'd be completely done with a new set of chops and 3 or 4 notes higher than where you play now, better tone, everything better by the time you start school, or for people who are older, by the time your ensembles will be getting going probably right after Labor Day. So, but anyway, you can test out some of these tutorials before you invest more money and more time. And so this is another good way to do that. Here's a beginner warm-up. So if you're a pimply-faced 12-year-old kid or 13, or or maybe you're an adult beginner. This would be perfect for you. So 10-minute video. Here's an advanced technique, low air tone technique. I didn't put advanced on there, but it is advanced. So I probably got to go back and put advanced on that. Finger strengthening skills for trumpet. These also work for tuba, valve trombone, euphonium, baritone, and French horn. It's not going to work for trombone. So if you want better coordinated, stronger, and faster fingers, you might want to get this video. Vibrato. Want to sound more like a pro, more advanced. Maybe it'll be more attractive to the audience members instead of have a flat, boring, sound as a lot of people do. Even some professionals, I don't know why they do that, but they will play a solo and not really add the vibrato, and it just sounds flat and boring. So you can learn vibrato on that one. Here's an advanced lip flexibility tutorial. And if you've never played trumpet, if you happen to stumble on this video somewhere, and maybe you play piano or some other instrument, and you've always thought it'd be kind of cool to check out trumpet, and someone gave you an old beat or cornet or trumpet, for $7, you can get this video. It will at least get you started on how to handle the horn, how to make your first sounds, what to do with the mouthpiece, how to do your lips. And that's a lot cheaper than if you had to get with somebody, right? Now, you can't really get with somebody now because of what's going on with this COVID-19. But, if you were to get with an instructor to go over this with you, you're going to probably spend $40 or $50, right? Let's see, unless you get some good college kid that can do it for... Well, they're still going to charge you $30. So this is a no-brainer. If you are stumbled on this video and you'd like to see what it would be like to play trumpet, how difficult it would be or easy, you can get this video for $7. Click 2, and it'll take you to maybe a couple more here of these. Roy Stevens, I have 3 right here that are amazing for, I would say, intermediate and advanced. This is not something that you probably want to do as a beginner, and I probably need to go by and put down maybe advanced or intermediate. But Roy Stevens Isometric's perfect for a 9th grader, let's say, on up. Static and squeaks, good for 9th, 10th grader on up. Harmonic arpeggios, actually this wouldn't be bad for even someone that's in 7th grade, because you're not going to hurt yourself by doing the Roy Stevens harmonic arpeggios. All these are good. And Roy Stevens and William Costello innovated all this stuff way back when, in the 1940s, I believe, and 50s, and even a little bit beyond. So I highly recommend these. Tongue arch would be good for anybody, I think if you're 10 or 11 years old, you might have a difficult understanding it, so I would kind of maybe bypass this for a little bit. But definitely if you're an intermediate or advanced player, you got to and really need to learn tongue arch. And let's see, we got warm-up for intermediate and advanced. Now this is a long one, it's very thorough, and it's not $7, it's in the 14. It's a 21-minute intermediate advanced warm-up. I do the warm-up along with you, and you can just kind of model what I'm doing here. So for intermediate and advanced players, this probably is more likely for people that are seniors in high school or in college, or maybe older adult players that have been stuck. Have you been stuck? Especially if you're older, can you look back at the last 10 years and see that you're still in the same spot that you were 10 years ago? You still have trouble making it through the end of rehearsal. You still can't play higher than an E flat above high C. You've been stuck there for 10 years. Stuck on a piece of music, stuck at a certain level. This will help you get through it. It's a 9-minute video, and I have some certain strategies that will help you get unstuck and break through any sticking points that you have. Move down here. Here's an advanced warm-up. Now this one is not a full warm-up. It's a quickie warm-up for the advanced and professionals who don't have time to warm up. They just got to the gig, or you just got to a concert. For whatever reason, you didn't have time to put in a half-hour warm-up. This has a quick strategy for you to get warmed up in kind of an emergency situation. Have you never tried lip buzzing before? Well, without having to come in contact with another human being, you can get this tutorial and be introduced into lip buzzing. Lip buzzing means no horn and no mouthpiece, just your lips. And if you haven't thought of doing that, I would highly recommend it because it's an integral part of your playing, and the improvement of your playing is developing the strength in your lips, which is a little bit different than the strength in your corners and your cheeks and your embouchure. Intermediate lip buzzing, just like the name sounds, you need to have spent a couple months on the beginning lip buzzing stuff first before you move on to intermediate. And then I do have a longer, more in-depth, and then now this one's tough, an advanced lip buzzing tutorial, and it's a little bit more. It's 14 minutes, $14. I don't recommend anybody getting this unless they've already had a decent amount of experience in lip buzzing, let's say at least 5 or 6 months worth or more. So don't, now you can get the whole collection if you want, but I would go one by one in order from beginning to intermediate to advanced. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I got all these cool little tutorials, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. That said, an arm and a leg is going to get you a lot further, and that's this guy right here. It's the 10-year anniversary of my upper register course. It's been completely revised, filmed in FHD, much better audio. Everything's better about this. It's just done a lot more professional. 85 techniques over 4 months. This one is worth the investment, and you actually have the time. If you have a few extra bucks, I have different versions that you can do this one with. Here's a new one I haven't talked about yet. I'll be doing a different video on this one. I now have a DVD version, and I'll be making a separate video showing you the DVDs and the box that it comes in for people who don't like messing around with downloads, and especially during this time, maybe you have a cabin or a second home that doesn't have internet access. Maybe you're up in the mountains, and this would be perfect because you can just put it in your DVD player. So now this is I'm not going to go through all this, but just since we're on this page, this is something new I also haven't brought up on YouTube yet, or to my folks on my roster, or maybe I have, maybe I showed this one, but this allows you to get into my live weekly course that normally is $997 for the 4-month tuition. It's a semester-long course, and that's the one where it's a real class. We meet each week. In the past, some people have not been able to do it because of the cost. So I've turned this into a weekly deal, and you can work with me live each week through this course for $75. And in this way, the course has to prove itself to you because you can quit any time. Now, the other folks that get involved in the regular version of this, you have to send almost $1,000 up front, and I force you to complete the course. I'm not going to give you a refund. You have to get in and complete the course, make a commitment, and do it. This one here, you do have an out, and the out is you take a week or two, and for some reason, if you decide that you don't like the course, you don't like doing it, then you can just bow out gracefully, and you're done. And I don't foresee that happening, but anyway, you can do that. The other thing about this version is here, you will let the course prove itself to you each week. You do 1 week, you like it, you got a little bit better, you do the next week. Like the next week, so forth and so on. You get my point. It's perfect for the skeptic. So, and also perfect for the person who doesn't have $1,000 wad to put down on the other version of this course. So anyway, we're going to stop there because I'm not going to go through. I got a lot of stuff to go through. I just mainly wanted to show you all the new stuff here that I got here. Stuff that anybody can get. A homeless person could spend $7 on this. You know, some of these homeless people, you know, make $100 a day panhandling. So a homeless person could take a $5 bill and 2 ones and get one of these tutorials. That's how cheap this is. That's how affordable this is. So I'm Kurt Thompson. I hope you found this educational and a little bit entertaining. And who knows, maybe as I went through some of these, you heard about some techniques that you hadn't even thought of trying. And at the very least, by having watched this video, maybe I will have turned you on to some things that now you can think about as far as getting better. You have to be at home. No one's going to an ensemble tonight. No one's going to a band concert. You're not going, even you pros, you're not going to a gig. you're basically at home. Why not get better? Why not make the most of this? Look for the silver lining. The silver lining is we can do extra things to get better. I'm doing it myself. I'm working on some things myself. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is right now, but I'm doing some things myself to actually, make me turn another corner and get better at my instrument. So we all should be doing that, taking advantage of this downtime and use it to practice more. Kurt Thompson, right up here, TrumpetSizzle.com. By the way, that's me in the picture. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Okay, middle C, high C, and double C buzz. And that's the ultimate test in pure embouchure and lip strength. Notice I was doing the real lip buzz. I wasn't doing the little puff out your thing that 8th graders do. No, I was doing the real lip buzz with an embouchure set, my lips rolled in, like I'm blowing into the horn. So make sure you're comparing apples to apples. What I did was the real lip buzz, free lip buzzing, like you got your embouchure set. So if you do this, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about real free lip buzzing, which requires an enormous amount of embouchure strength. And you can always just about count on the fact that you can buzz a certain note, it's likely you can play about an octave higher than that. Buzz a high C, you can probably play double C. Buzz a middle C, you can probably play high C. Buzz a double C, like I just did, you can probably play a triple C, which is true. So there is a correlation between your lip buzzing and your strength and what you do on the trumpet, what you do on any other brasses. It doesn't really matter, tuba, trombone, whatever. So embouchure strength is the most important thing, the most important aspect of brass playing. Take it away and you really have little left. Little left. You might as well just become a singer. I mean, you really do. If you don't have the embouchure strength, you can't play. I don't know. Maybe you can play in the low register, and that's about all you're going to get if you absolutely have no strength here whatsoever. Nothing really is going to happen on the horn. You could be Olympic swimmer with great lungs and air. No embouchure strength, it's going nowhere. So there you have it. And I will continue on with this brass improvement series right here. Hey, today we're going to be talking about chop strength or embouchure strength versus air. And it seems like every other day I'm getting an email from somebody with a counterpoint of view for myself about air. A lot of times you hear me say air is not the main thing that's going to get you your range, and it's not the only thing. And then people think that I don't believe in air at all, and that's not true. But we really need to figure things out. Now I love Don Jacoby and his stuff. Bill Adams is wonderful. In fact, I do a little bit of his stuff in my 4-month upper register program, the lead pipe buzzing and stuff like that. So, and then the other yoga breathing techniques. But air, my friend, if you work only on air and think that's the holy grail to ultimate endurance at upper register, you're going to fail. That's just the bottom line. And we're going to find out why today. In fact, I'm going to prove that air is not the holy grail to upper register. It really is lip and embouchure strength. And then the second to that would be how you compress your air. So that is a very important part of being in upper register and playing that way, playing clearly in the upper register. So, and I'm not following a script here, I'm just thinking out loud, but you need to see a good up-close demonstration. That's why I have this camera so close. I want you to notice how much air I'm really taking in to be able to get in the upper register. And if you have half a brain, you're going to figure things out that you got to have the chop strength. You got to have the lip strength. Lip strength is a little different than your embouchure, than the muscles that surround here. Don't believe me? Watch some autopsies. It's pretty gruesome, but you're going to see that the musculature of the face right through here, our embouchure, actually is different tissue than what you have right here. And so this is a little something different here that we want to work on to get stronger. You have to have lip strength to withstand the pressure of the air coming out. So yes, you do need to be able to have great air flow and to be able to really compress the air. That's the most important part. So even if you only had one lung, if you had the mechanism set up to really compress that air and everything was synced and coordinated, I'm sure that you could probably still play decently in the upper register and expand your range. I'm confident of that. And let's find out why that is. So I'm going to put the mouthpiece up. First of all, I'm going to see if you can get the feeling of when I take a full breath. So here's the full breath. Okay, so you'll know when I'm taking a full breath. I'm sitting down, so you'll see that I have to do that. Now, if I take a partial breath, I'm not going to take a full breath. And by the way, this video's in lieu of me writing out a big email for my brass techniques improvement series. I'm just basically it's going to be this video, so you're not going to see a long email. This is the next installment in the brass players improvement email series I do on Facebook. So just be watching this and take notes. So check this out, and I'm going to try to make it clear when I do take a larger breath. So you need to see my lips. Try to get it close. I'm putting the mouthpiece up. I'm going to take about 20% air. Here we go. That's it. That's only 20%, folks. Now, I didn't exactly have the accuracy that I wanted because I didn't have the airstream pushing it forward. But that's pure embouchure strength. Let's do it again. I'm going to take about the same amount of air, about 20%. Here we go. It's only 20. I think I got up maybe around the triple F range, give or take. Wasn't a lot of air there. Now, I will put in a lot more air. So let me take in double that. Let's go up to about 50%. That's about 50. So I'm getting more sound out, and the air that I'm blowing through my chops is more air, more quantity, and it's actually probably a little bit faster, of course. Now, because I'm blowing more air, that's activating all the muscle contraction here. It's got to still stay sealed on the mouthpiece, otherwise the lips would fly out and you're not going to be able to go up any higher. So anyway, that should be really clear. Let's just take another look at that. Not much air. So here we go. That's a big breath, and let me let it all out. Basically, you saw me playing a double G, that's a double concert F, on the trumpet with virtually no air. Did anybody check that out? I basically had hardly any air. And how loud was it? It came out about MF. So wait a minute. Now, let's go back to Don Jacoby, and we can even include Stamps and some of these other guys, Bill Adams, real big proponents. Even my hero, Bud Brisbois, real big proponent of his wedge breath. He was the original wedge breath guy. Shu came after him. Bud Brisbois is the originator of wedge breath breathing, in case you guys didn't know that. And there's actually two versions. The Shu version, Bobby Shu's, is a little bit different, more applicable to like real-time playing. But Bud Brisbois basically said his way of breathing, this wedge breath, was the reason he could play so high. And tell you the truth, I don't believe that's true. The guy had incredible chops, and I'm pretty confident that even if he had only one lung or wasn't breathing quite as good as he did in the wedge breath that he originated, he could still play very, very well in the upper register. he had a natural setup. And so I think he was trying to explain why he could play so well. Sometimes when players are born with natural leverage and a natural ability to really compress air, they're not quite exactly sure what they're doing. So they look to rationalize how they're able to do it. You can watch Maynard, one of the ultimate talent in upper register. Just look at his face. He had a natural setup. His teeth and everything was just perfect for being able to get the high velocity out to play in the upper register. Now, of course, he had to work. He had to practice, not shortchanging that. But I think at some point he was trying to figure out how he was actually doing it. He had just this ultimate talent. I mean, he had the perfect leverage just built into a system that a lot of us have to work a lot harder to get. And sometimes we don't even get to that level. So you can watch in some of his master classes that he really explains about that he worked a lot on his breathing, and then he leans back. He's really big about bending knees and leaning back. And I'm going to tell you something. And Maynard is also one of my heroes, just along with Bud. But they're trying to explain how they're able to play so easily and well the upper register when, in fact, they had just like the ultimate amount of talent to be able to do so, a natural setup. I'm confident that you can take in a big gulp of air and practice yoga, lean back, bend your knees, and you're not going to be sounding like Maynard. And you're not going to really get that much upper register. You're going to have to do something to strengthen this area up here in your face. You have to have the strength up here. There's just no question. And what do a lot of people tell you to do? Do long tones, take stuff up an octave, play in the upper register, and really work on your airflow, and you'll get there. Nope, it doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut it. Now, it might for some people who are already predisposed and have the natural great leverage in their face right here, their tongue. Maybe they got if you have a smaller oral cavity and you're using your tongue arch, you really can speed up the air a lot faster. So there's a lot of things that really go into this to making natural leverage. So yes, the people that have gained a lot of range and can excel very well in the upper and extreme upper register of any brass instrument, if they did the long tones, if they really worked on their breathing, if they played stuff up an octave, they might actually just get to where they wanted to be and where everybody wants to be, but mainly because they had already a predisposition for natural leverage and a great compression ability just through their genetics. So the rest of us, you're going to have to really be strategic about getting this strength. And unfortunately, for most of us, not one method and not one technique is going to get you there. In other words, you can't just do Bill Adams' method and get there. It's going to work for some people, but will it work for you or me? I don't know. Claude Gordon, love it. And I actually got something out of it, but is it going to work for you? I've been teaching for a long time, and that Claude Gordon doesn't work for everybody. It works for me, and not ultimately, but it did help me out at one point. So I love the Claude Gordon stuff. Roy Stevens, so palming and all that kind of stuff. Will it work for you? It may, and it may not. Reinhardt, all these other methods that are out there. Cat Anderson is probably the toughest method to actually go through. So there's a whole bunch out there. The only question is, will it work for you? And those methods are successful for some people, but not for everybody. Of course, we already know why it's not successful for everybody. It's just fact. If one method was actually successful at producing gorgeous high notes and upper register abilities and endurance, then we would all only use that one method. Think about it. Let's use our brain here. If one method was that successful, you wouldn't be listening to this right now, and I wouldn't be talking about it. Everybody could just do it. So the fact of the matter is, not one method is perfect for everybody. As a result, that's the whole nature of my 4-month upper register course. There's 65 techniques, and these techniques come from every method you can think of. The bulk of it are actually my techniques, and I include a lot of breathing for compression and some other stuff. So you have to take the macro approach to really building the strength.
We don't know which particular technique is going to do it for you. I'm confident that out of 65, 5 or 10 are definitely going to be the magic bullet for you. But what's the magic bullet for you? Don't know. And whatever it is, it won't be the same for me or the same for the next guy or gal. So you really have to use your intelligence here if you want to improve your upper register. And keep in mind, I don't care what instrument you play. I don't care if you're a college professor or you're a comeback player or you're a hobbyist or you're a pro player, whatever. It doesn't really matter. What matters is you have to keep improving your range. You can't be settled on your range, wherever it is at today, because the more range you have, what happens? Even if you don't want to play double Cs, classical guys out there, if you can play a double C, what happens here? Boom. The pressure comes off your lips when you're playing in the tessitura that you normally play in, whether it's middle C up to maybe E's. So you don't have to have the desire to play double Cs. It's just if you can play them in your practice, the pressure comes off here. You get a better sound, a bigger sound, and a lot more endurance. So let's take one more look, and then I'm going to wrap it up here. Really, the air is important, and to compress the air, you really have to arch the tongue in your mouth up, like you're saying N or E or T. Your tongue's actually like this. That it's doing the arch. Like that. And you're blowing the air from the back of your throat up and over the tongue, and it comes out the aperture. Now that's great. We got to have that air. But if you don't have the super strong embouchure, chops, and the lip able to contract and hold that air into the mouthpiece, all the air is just going to be useless for you. And that's this brass improvement email series. Hope you get a lot out of it. You're seeing a real good close-up of me, maybe too close. Let's take another look at the mouthpiece. So I'm putting the mouthpiece right on my chops and take a small amount of air. Okay? Not a whole lot of pressure there, really. And that was probably about 30% of my air capacity. That should prove a point. It should really prove a point that, yes, work on your air, but you need to focus a lot more on how to get this going here. And let me just leave you with this. If you're pounding away and banging your head at one method, and you keep wondering why it doesn't work, but you know it should work because it works for everybody else, well, that's erroneous thinking right there. You really need to take the shotgun approach. I'm here to tell you, you got to take the shotgun approach, the macro point of view, when it comes to really increasing your strength in your face, your lips, and everything else. You just got to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be one of those guys that sticks with a method because you don't want to, I guess, admit that you've made the wrong decision. You'll stick with that method for all your life, and you'll always have problems in the upper register. So, use your intelligence. Think about things in an intelligent way. And I'm Kurt Thompson. Hope this made a little sense to you. And today's date, by the way, happens to be March 7th, 2013. Take care. talk about trumpet high notes, trumpet lessons, and trumpet mouthpieces. Now, a lot of people think that if you can play high, it's because you're playing on a shallow mouthpiece. In fact, a lot of people that are unable to play high, when they hear someone play high, will say that they're using a cheater mouthpiece or a shallow mouthpiece to be able to get those notes. That's not necessarily so. There's the right tool for the job. So what I wanted to point out today, I want to dispel a couple of myths. I do happen to play on a shallower mouthpiece. It is a Neil Sander 17S. But is this the only reason why I'm able to play high? Is it the only reason why other trumpet players who are quite adept in the upper register of the trumpet, their mouthpiece, is it the only reason why they can play high? I don't think so. I think that you have to practice the right techniques in the right way for the right amount of time to be able to get your upper register the way you want it. Now, I wanted to go through a couple of mouthpieces that are quite common. Let's pull out, this is the Bach 1.5C. Now I'll see if I can get it up there in the camera for you, so you know that I'm really showing you the real deal. Probably can't really see it. Let's see if I can turn it a little bit. There we go. Take my word for it, that's a Bach 1.5C. Now it's a little bit cold. Now, according to a lot of people who can't play high, I should be able to hit a double C on this one. Now I will tell you that the mouthpiece I play on it for a reason. I like the sound I get, I like the tone, I like the accuracy, I like the volume I get out of it. Otherwise I could just play on any mouthpiece, right? So this one here will probably not sound as good to me and have the projection and some of the other qualities that I love in my Neil Sanders, but will I be able to play a double C on this one like I do on mine? If the people who can't play high that put out this myth that you can only play high with a cheater mouthpiece are right, then I should not be able to play much, maybe beyond a high C on this one. So let's find out. This is a Bach Bach 1.5 C. Now I'll just play a middle C here. No problems there. Does seem a little bit harder than mine. Whoa, wait a minute. That was a double C. It was on a Bach 1.5 C mouthpiece. Well, it looks like I just broke that myth that you have to be able to use a cheater mouthpiece to be able to play high. Now there's a lot of people that play on this one, a lot of symphonic players that poo-poo high notes, so they play on this one. They don't really have to play much more than a high C or a high D in their symphonic and orchestral works, even the professional trumpet players I'm talking about in major symphony orchestras. This is one of their favorite mouthpieces right here. Would I use this on a regular job or a gig for playing Maynard stuff, playing lead? No, I wouldn't, because this makes life more difficult. But you heard it right here, folks. I played a double C on this Bach 1.5 mouthpiece. See if I can show you it again. Well, before I put this one away, I got a couple other ones to show you. Let me put it right back in. This is the Bach 1.5 C mouthpiece. I'll put it right back in my horn. Let's just see if that was a fluke. Maybe it's a one-time fluke and I won't be able to get it again. Nope, it wasn't a fluke. I am able to play high on a Bach 1.5 mouthpiece. Let's set that one aside. Now, what is the most common trumpet mouthpiece in all the world? If you answered a 7C, you are correct. I'm going to see what happens when we get out the 7C. Now watch this video carefully because this is all uncut. There's the 7C. Can everybody see it? I'm going to leave it in the video. I'm coming back around. Coming back around, there's no cutting or editing. Here's the box 7C. This is what you get typically when you buy a new horn. Typically what beginners play on it. Very few professionals play on a 7C. There might be 1 out of 1,000 that would play on a 7C. Well, let me try it. Now, supposedly, I shouldn't be able to play on high on this one either, right? It's a 7C mouthpiece, not a cheater mouthpiece, not a lead mouthpiece. Let's see what happens. Now, if you watch the video, I've been going on continuously there, so there's been no monkey business. It's still in my horn. It's cold. Try to double C there. Well, lo and behold, I'm able to get a double C on this 7C mouthpiece. Shouldn't be able to do that, should I? According to the people who can't play high and who use typically the larger mouthpieces, I shouldn't be able to play high on that, should I? Okay, so I played on a Bach 1.5C, played a double C. I played on a Bach 7C, played a double C. Let's get out just a couple more. This one here, this is a Bach 10.5C. Now this is the mouthpiece that a lot of classical players who really can't play high will actually use in their piccolo. See if I can show it to you. Sorry, it's not coming in clear. There you go. You can see it's there. That's the Bach 10.5C. I'll leave it in the frame so you can see me put it right on my horn. This is the one that a lot of classical players, professional, principal, symphonic players all across the country, the major metropolitan symphony orchestras will pop this in when they got to play something high, or they'll put it in their piccolo. And then they go back to their 1.5C. They'll put the Bach 10.5C in. It's cold, let me warm it up. Middle C. High C. Double C. I'm going to pull right on my horn. You saw exactly what I was playing on. This is no trick photography here. It's a Bach 10.5C. Well, what is this? This is a Bach 12. Bach 12C. We'll try that one. I've actually never played on a 12C before. I borrowed a couple of these mouthpieces just for this demonstration. Bach 12C, I have no idea how I would play this one. It is probably a little bit more smaller than the 10.5C, I'm guessing. Middle C. High C. Double C. On a Bach 12C. Okay, last one. I thought it would be kind of funny. French horn mouthpiece. Now I have no clue what I'm going to get on this thing. You can see it's a huge, huge, deep cup. French horn mouthpiece. What is it here? It's 11. It's a Vincent Bach 11. French horn mouthpiece. So I still have it here. Let me put it in my horn. Of course, it won't fit properly, but it's in there. Let's just see what I give this. It's not going to sound pretty. It's going to be out of tune. Probably swim around. But it's a French horn mouthpiece. I really shouldn't be able to play too high on it. Most French horn players can't play too high, so let's see what will happen. Definitely a different tone. A lot warmer. High C now. Real muffled. It's probably going to be very difficult to get the double C out. You heard it right there. Got a double C on a French horn mouthpiece in my trumpet. So, let's go back to my mouthpiece. Neil Sanders, 17S. There you go, you can kind of see it there. There we go. Neil Sanders. You can tell it's beat up. This is the very mouthpiece that I played Gabriel, Maynard Ferguson's Gabriel on quite a number of years ago. So if you happen to see my video doing that one, or hear it somewhere. This is the same mouthpiece I used for that one. Now let's go back. You're going to notice that I can, of course, still play the high note. It's just going to have more of a punch, more power. That's your middle C. Here's your high C. Love it the way it comes out. You notice that in all these mouthpieces, I was able to hit the double C. All of us have different dental structure, different facial features up here, and therefore what works for somebody, for example, this works for me, might not work for you. And that's why I would definitely recommend, and I recommend all my students to spend some time going through different mouthpieces and making sure that mouthpiece is appropriate for what you do. This mouthpiece may not be the perfect mouthpiece for a symphonic player, but it shouldn't be the reason a symphonic player would say that they can't play high because they need a cheater mouthpiece. I've just broken that myth right here. You heard me play a double C on a Bach 1.5 mouthpiece. You've heard me play, that's a 1.5 C mouthpiece. You heard me play a double C on a Bach 7 C mouthpiece. That's the standard mouthpiece that every little kid gets when they take their horn right out of the case for the first time. So what can we learn from this? You, first of all, need to be taking lessons from someone like myself, or you got to take lessons from somebody who already can do what you want to do. That's number one. Number two, put the notion of mouthpieces allowing you to play high out of your head and actually do the real trumpet work. What does that mean? You actually got to practice, and you got to practice the right stuff in the right amounts. That's what we learned today. You don't need a cheater mouthpiece to play high. You should be able to play high on any mouthpiece you pick up. I just proved it here. You know, I want you to go to TrumpetSizzle.com. That's www.TrumpetSizzle.com. I have an array of trumpet video lessons. My main job is teaching trumpet from beginners all the way up to advanced and professionals. Yes, I do have a couple of professionals from time to time that come in that want to learn how to improve their range. Always remember, it takes about 5,000 hours of concentrated practice from beginning, whether you started in 5th grade or if you're starting as an adult, doesn't matter, log those hours in. It takes about 5,000 hours just to reach the very bottom of the professional caliber trumpet player. So if you're wondering where you're at or why you're not where you want to be, think about how many hours you've logged in since you began playing. And if it's not 5,000, chances are you need to put in some more practice time. And, I'll repeat it again, you got to get with the right teacher. In fact, let me just bring that up before we close it. You know, if you go to Google and you type in trumpet lessons, you're going to see quite a variety of people on there, including myself. I come on page 2 right now. I'm trying to get on page 1. But you want to get with a trumpet instructor who not only can tell you how to play high, show you how to play high, but actually has been out there in front of an audience with different bands playing upper register trumpet music. Anyway, what I've noticed is that a lot of these trumpet players that you're going to find that pop up on Google on page 1 right away, if you try to search their name and find out what they've done, what they played, some of them you can't even find a live video of them playing. But their marketing is really good. So I would just caution you that as you're looking for somebody to help you out with your trumpet lessons and improving high range and everything else, you want to get with somebody who can actually play the trumpet, play the way you want to play, and has actually proved it with bands and other live audiences. Go to TrumpetSizzle.com. See you there. reasons you cannot play high. Well, I just demonstrated one of them. This, the meat, the muscle, right? But you already knew that, right? Yeah. You know you got to have chops. You got to build this. Everything. All these muscles, everything. It's all got to be built up strong. So you know that one, but maybe you didn't. Maybe you thought it was talent. Okay? A lot of people think it's just talent. Can't play high. I was just born to play third chair. Just the way it is. Don't get mad about it. Don't beat yourself up over it. You just weren't born with the talent to be able to play high. Actually, some people feel that way. But that is 100% wrong. 100% incorrect. That's your belief system, but it's not reality. Your belief system, but not reality. So the top reason that you can't play high is you haven't gone through the process of training this and the whole mechanism from diaphragm to here to out to the horn. You haven't gone through that process. Now you can look at video, YouTube after YouTube. In fact, I just crossed over the 600 mark on my YouTube channel. Videos available to the public. You can watch them all. You're not going to get that miraculous improvement in range and endurance just by watching videos, even though I'm giving you some good advice and others are giving you good advice. You have to go through the process. The process is systematically applying so many different angles at your chops, your breathing, your tongue, strategically over a period of time, infused with momentum. That's what the process is. And you're not likely to have gone through that process if you're watching this video, or maybe you're just watching it just for giggles. But you have to go through the process. It seems like a lot of teachers that can actually play decently high are not taking their students through the process. And as a result, the students don't end up playing as well as a teacher, and they don't even make that much improvement. It's about the process, not about one or two techniques or a routine that you're going to do. It's about the process. So, if you watch my stuff, you will get better, and you are certainly going to play a little bit higher, a little bit better, a bigger sound, a bigger tone, more accuracy, better endurance, yes. But you're not going to get that miracle, amazing, oh my God, I was playing high Z's and D's a few months ago and now I'm zinging out double high G's. Now I can actually do some Broadway shows if I wanted. No, you're not going to get that by watching just individual random videos on how to play trumpet better from anybody. You have to go through the process. I happen to know what that process is, by the way. And according to most of the people that have been working with me, it seems like they know it now too and they can demonstrate it. So let's go on to number 2, or the second reason, the second top reason that you can't play high. That. Tongue and tongue arch. Now, you can still play high without the tongue arch. I'm going to play high right now, leaving my tongue dropped in a low C positioning. And now it's not going to sound good at all. Okay? How am I able to still get up there even though it sucked? I had the chops. But having the chops is one part of the equation. If you don't have the tongue arch, my friend, you can have the range. F, G, weak, kind of brittle sounding, stiff sounding, not that powerful. But I can get those notes. That proves to you right there that if you're still not doing some things right, that you can still gain some altitude just by developing your chops, but that's not going to be the panacea. And what you're thinking about is an end result of how you want to play. So the tongue arch, the less space you have in your mouth when the air is coming out, you're going to zing out higher notes because the air is going to be speeding past the lips, vibrating them faster, vibrating the air that goes into here, coming out here, it's going to all be faster. Okay. So how do we do that? It's the tongue arch. And it's kind of one of the most elusive techniques on the trumpet. It really is. I get people that can actually play pretty decently up to high C, D, even E, and they're not using tongue arch, but they're so used to not using tongue arch that they can actually play sometimes at the professional level or as a professional in a symphony. It's quite amazing how they can do that. They're making things in life very, very hard by doing that, but yet they've accommodated not knowing about the tongue arch or not being able to do it. So what if you had a screwed up embouchure, or what if you thought you didn't play correctly? Well, here's my natural setting. What if I played poorly? Let's move this mouthpiece over a little bit. There we go, see it? I'm way off my embouchure. In fact, I'm over. What about the other way? Well, now I'm back to center. Move it over. Now I'm really playing not where I want to play. I can still do it, but it sucked that on that one side compared to the other. So I've showed you that with no tongue arch, I can still play high. Playing on a totally screwed up embouchure, one side to another like that, I can still play some, actually into the upper register above high C. So it's the tongue arch. Tongue arch. So quit looking at whether or not you got a bad embouchure, a defective embouchure, whether or not you think that you're playing a little off center and your teacher's on you for that. You play too high, play too low. You can work on that stuff later, but that's not your problem. The problem is tongue arch, especially if you've got the other part handled, the musculature, the embouchure, and the strength. But a lot of people don't got that handled either. But it's the tongue arch. With the tongue arch, you can do quite amazing things. So if you can play high B flats, B's, and C's with the perfectly executed and advanced tongue arch, that those high C's automatically turn into E's and F's with no change in the musculature and the strengthening of the embouchure here. Tongue arch works wonders. That's the second reason that you can't play and if it's the second reason, or it's the second place why almost all brass players can't get altitude and can't have good endurance. It seems to be mystical and ambiguous, foggy, murky, unclear what the tongue arch really is. But basically, if you can take the tip of your tongue, that's the tip. Take it and put it under, behind your teeth, your lower teeth. Here's upper, lower. Take the tip, go down, anchor it. I have the tip anchored right at the bottom of my lower teeth, where the teeth kind of almost turn into the gums, right at that gum line, or you run out of teeth, and you can feel the wet gum. That's where you anchor the tip of your tongue. Yeah. And then the tongue arches up. Like you're saying in, or E-I-N-G, swimming. Yeah. So that's when you're at maximum tongue arch. And here's a good test for I made another tutorial about this, but it was kind of shorter. So you can try this on different things. Here's me going from second line G to C on purpose. Okay? Okay, you're seeing movement here. I'm also adding a little extra tension when I'm going up to give it push. The way to really get the feeling of tongue arch, so it's not theory, it's actually something real that you're doing, is to purposely try not to get the top note, yet raise your tongue in an arch position. So right now I'm going to take a big breath, I'm going to hold a G, but during that time what's happening inside my mouth is this. My tongue is arching up. You already know that tip is placed behind my teeth. So it's going here, up. And I'm purposely going to try not to get the C. Watch what happens. Hear that? Of course it didn't sound good, but I'm purposely trying not to get the C. I don't want the C to come out. Watch again. Again. You notice no movement going on here at all, right? And I'm really trying not to let the C come out. That's your assignment. If you can get that to happen, you've executed the tongue arch quite perfectly. Now, it doesn't stop there. The tongue has to be developed, and you have to be able to hold the tongue arch under a lot of undue pressure when you're above high C. That pressure will flatten down your tongue, and your range will drop. Not because you don't have chops, because you're not maintaining the tongue arch. So the tongue arch, you got to get it, but then you have to develop it to withstand the pressure that will be inside your oral cavity when you're really playing in the upper register and beyond. Your tongue arch drops just a micromillimeter and you've lost 2 notes on your range, just like that. That's how easy it is. So let's try it on a different note. Low C. I'm trying to do that, right? You can tell. What if I take a big breath and purposely stay on that low C? Don't let that G come out. Take a bigger breath this time. The first one came out air because I didn't have any air left. Even low C to G, which is a wider interval, isn't it? It's another note wider, so you're going to fifth. Now, a lot more air is coming out on low C than it is on G because you have the placement of your jaw and your tongue even lower. But still, you could hear that something was happening. In fact, the air started to cut off. And on that first one, did you hear that? It was almost no air. I mean, it was just air coming out. But the low C would not come out. So don't think that was a mistake. The low C would not come out anymore. Let me just see if I can go for the air again because that was pretty important. I'm raising the tongue up to the point where the low C will not vibrate anymore. Well, now that time the note came out. No, hold on, let me try it again. Trying to keep the low C down, but I'm raising my tongue into a tongue arch. No, it's not going to do it this time. I guess it was kind of a fluke, but still, that was important to realize I'm trying to play the low C, which even beginners can get. So you know something was going on inside here. I mean, if I can't play the low C, something really is bad, and something bad's going to happen. Maybe the end of the world tonight. I can't play a low C, and if you can't play a low C, it's probably the same thing. Now, if I'm playing a low C and I do something inside my mouth that causes the low C not to come out, you know I'm doing something. You know something is going on. You just have to know that. So I was probably speeding up the air too fast for the low C to come out, and it was in the little twilight zone area right before the G was going to snap out. So I'm not even sure if I've even tried this on C to E. Now, I'm thinking that as you get more narrow in intervals,
it's probably going to come out easier. So I'm not sure if this will be the best demonstration or not. Let's find out. So middle C to E. Oh, normally. Now, I'm going to try to keep it at middle C and not let the E to come out. Oh no, okay, it gets easier as you go higher, actually. Yeah, okay, so that's why I was experiencing that error at the low C to G. So this demonstration is actually perfect for you at G to C. And if you do have range up to about an A to a high C, you might want to try it from middle C to E because it's actually easier. But it might be so easy that you don't really get the feeling of it. So you've heard me do 3 different ones. G to C is commonly what I show students. Low C to G is going to be harder. And C to E is going to be easier. So you got 3 different intervals that you can slur to using the tongue arch. And remember, you're trying not to let the top note come out. You're trying not to let the top note come out. That's what you're trying to do. But you're arching up, you're trying to arch the tongue as high as it will arch, but with the goal of not getting that top note. Because if you have the goal to get the top note, then you might add a little bit more pressure here. You might blow harder. You're going to be doing some things unconsciously that you've just already trained yourself to do to get the note to come out. That's why it's important to really, it might go against your ego, but really do not let that top note come out. Just keep arching the note up and hope it doesn't come out. And when the top note does come out, if it does for you, then you know that you've got the tongue arch decently perfected, but just not strengthened. I mean, the tongue arch, you either get it or you don't, right? There's not really a gray area. You got it perfected, you can do it, or you don't have it at all. There's not really a middle ground. You either got it or you don't. After that point, it's about developing your tongue and the tongue arch to really be refined and just amazingly versatile when you're playing. That's where I come in. Have you ever heard that I got a website called TrumpetSizzler.com and that I teach a lot of people, especially a lot of advanced and professional players that want to get better with endurance and range? Well, if you haven't heard about it, you're just hearing it now, I actually do that. That's kind of actually what I'm good at. And I do I'm good at some other things too, but I kind of have this natural knack for helping people out with that. So if you'd like to learn more, you can definitely look at more videos here. And if you're watching this, why not go ahead and subscribe? You can support me. You're going to get an instant email when I put up new videos like this. And I don't know, I think that you're going to learn something and become a better player. But if you really want to take the horse by the reins and run with it, you got to do something, and that's called going through the process, which I alluded to earlier in the video. So, but this tutorial on tongue arch should help you. And now if you're not getting the note to come out at all, even though you're trying not to, but it still doesn't come out, that's where, again, you need a coach, you need someone to work with you on that, because that is the second reason you're not able to play high, play with power up the upper register, or even have great endurance. If you're constantly playing in a low C position in the upper register, you're gassing out all the muscles here. You're just putting such a load on them, and that's why you don't have any endurance. So you might even have a little range, but you have no endurance. You got to get the tongue arch. It's the second reason people have problems in the upper register and with endurance. Since you've already heard me say that, it's a no-brainer. Work on it. Get it going. It's worth the investment in time. So that's a wrap. Hey guys and gals, I've been using a cool little tip, shortcut. Again, this is not a substitute for the process or for enrolling in lessons, and specifically we're enrolling in some of my
pedagogical specific courses like upper register, technique, lead trumpet playing, breathing. But I have found that this is a very potent and quick results producing technique. And I call it the frozen lip bend. I've scoured Google, YouTube, even that crappy little site called Vimeo. No, there's nobody else that has come up with this, so the date of this video will be the copyright for this particular technique. It's the frozen lip bend. We could almost call it deep frozen lip bends. And so you've seen people demonstrate lip bends almost in a half-step fashion, and it looks impressive. They're doing things like right. Well, that wasn't a lip bend. Okay. I was doing that in 9th grade, folks. I mean, come on. So when you see someone, a pro that's screwing around, lip bending like that, that's kindergarten stuff. You want to go up to the heavyweight league with the big boys, then you do deep lip bends on any brass instrument. Not this little half-step bullshit jargon that's not going to get you anything. So here we go. I like to play the F sharp in the G progression down. So play the F sharp. Now no valve. Soft and increase dynamics. Control, baby, back it off. Okay, now that is the half-step lip bend that you hear all the time, except that was a frozen lip bend, not quite deep, but now it's going to get deeper. Now let's go to something that you don't hear anybody doing unless you've watched another of my tutorials on lip bending. We're going to go down to F natural, which is going to be the whole step below G. Control that baby all the way back to triple pianissimo, baby. All right, this is the big boy league, and you might not even be able to do what I just did, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't do it with a little bit of practice with trying this. This takes incredible, resilient, flexible, strong, powerful chops to be able to accommodate what I'm showing you now with this technique, the deep frozen lip bend. Let's go even deeper. Now, you'd never hear anybody, I haven't heard anybody lip bend down to an E in this part of the range of the horn of the trumpet. So G to, now we're going down a minor third. Lift the belt up. Incredible amount of control there and finesse to be able to accommodate that. You have a favorite celebrity trumpet player, and if you're friends with them, ask them to do what I'm doing. The odds are very considerable and stacked against them that they won't be able to do that. So now we're going to get into the extreme minority of all professional. Actually, this is not even professional. This is way above professional level playing. And you have to have worked considerably on the physical aspects of brass playing to be able to accommodate this, to go down a major third and control it. So G down to E flat. Down to quadruple piano, ladies and gentlemen. Again, quite an exhibition in resiliency, malleability, flexibility, powerful. What other kind of adjectives can I come up with this? It's just, you really have to have excelled way above the typical professional, commercial, or orchestral player to be able to do this. But with this technique, you can. It's not going to happen overnight. But what is going to happen is as you keep working on this, you're going to notice that your sound opens up. Your flexibility just becomes like a hot knife through butter as you go through all registers of the horn, and the facility of the horn is just going to be a piece of cake. Of course, your range is going to improve. I think that this would be especially good for orchestral players because I have a feeling that you're going to be able to open up and get that more brassy resonance on the mid and lower middle register of the horn, which is where a lot of this orchestral music is played, especially if you're not principal trumpet. So this could be very beneficial if you totally don't like the commercial and jazz idiom of playing and you're more into the classical. This could really benefit you in this particular register. Now let's go to no man's land. We're going to go down to perfect fourth. Man, this is like super deep. This is like the 12-foot deep into the pool where the high dive is. So here we go. Very difficult. In fact, you even heard me falter a little bit. I'm not perfect. I'm close to perfect, but not. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Well, when it comes to looks, yeah, that's been pretty close. But when it comes to playing, yeah, I have my problems. It's just like everybody else. So I guarantee you, most of you are not going to be able to do that, but you do not need to be depressed because you can start just on the F sharp in this progression down from middle G, second line middle G for trumpets. Everybody else you can transpose to the notes in your instrument. That would be practical. I've just thrown it out here. For example, probably for trombone, I probably would be playing first position F. That's fourth line F in the bass clef staff. For trombone people, I would probably start right there, first position, and then of course you're going to have to bend it down without moving the slide, right? So you're going to find it very, very difficult. But that's just an example if you're playing another brass instrument. Now let's go for the quintessential granddaddy gold medal Olympic winner. If you can get this one and control it, and I gotta be honest with you, sometimes and some days I can't get this one. That's how difficult it is. But that would be going down the tritone from G down to C sharp, D flat, and harmonic. This is almost a nightmare to try to do on a regular basis and be consistent, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot right now. So we're playing our G down to D flat. Oh, almost didn't get it. Folks, that was rough and tough and tumble. If you can do that and control it, you just certainly have to have chops. I would almost bet without hearing you playing anything else that you probably have a good core to your sound, amazing dynamics in all registers, and just great facility all over the horn, whatever brass instrument it is. So this was Kurt Thompson with another amazing proprietary and unique tip, trick, and technique for brass players that you've never heard before, and the date of this video will be its copyright. No one else has done the deep frozen lip bend. Try it, you'll like it, comment below. I'll see you in the next one. I've been kind of messing around doing the palming Dr. Charles Cullen lip slurs and lip trills, and I've been finding it quite tough. I mean, you can't use any mouthpiece pressure, so I'll just give you an example. You do the horn here, it's palmed. So you make your hand. Now, French horn players, you'll probably have to do this Trombone players, maybe also. Baritone players, I'm not exactly sure how you would do that unless you could put your, like, you know how a tuba will put their tuba in a big tuba stand. And if you put the tuba in the stand and you just went up to it with the mouthpiece like that, that would be almost the equivalent. So if you could put your euphonium or baritone in some kind of a stand, then you could probably get the technique we're after here. So you make your hand like a shelf, and I was just kind of messing around doing some lip trill, just seeing where I was at. As you've heard in other past tutorials, I've been able to, lip trill pretty decently up to triple G's, but that was using a tremendous amount of mouthpiece pressure at the very end, so that was pretty tough for me. But here I am. Let me just do it this way so you can see. That's C to E easy. Obviously that's E to G, G to B flat, B flat to C,